Emily and John had been married for 42 years. Their life together was never perfect, but it was real. They argued about silly things: who forgot to put gas in the car, or whether John's favorite baseball team was overrated. But beneath those small disagreements was a love that had carried them through decades of joy, struggle, and sacrifice. They met in college. Emily was studying literature. John was an engineering student who secretly loved music. On their first date, John had taken her to a small diner that played old records. He nervously asked her to dance, even though he had to left feet. He stepped on her toes 3 times, but Emily laughed instead of pulling away. She said later, "That's the moment I knew I'd marry you." Years passed. They built a home, raised 2 children, and endured hard times: job losses, illnesses, financial struggles. But no matter how hard life got, John always played their song on Saturday mornings. He would stretch out his hand and say, "Dance with me, Em," and she always did, even if it was just for a minute in the kitchen while pancakes burned on the stove. But then John got sick. At first it was just fatigue. Then came the diagnosis no one wants to hear: cancer. Slowly, the strongman Emily had always known became frail. The hospital became their new home. Nurses knew them by name, and Emily never left his side. One night, John looked at her and whispered, "Em, I don't think I have much time left." Tears filled her eyes, but she forced a smile and said, "Don't talk like that. You are still here, and that's what matters." John shook his head and squeezed her hand. "I want one more dance." Emily's heart broke. She knew what he meant. She pulled out her phone and searched for their wedding song. The melody filled the quiet hospital room. Slowly, carefully, she helped John out of bed. His hands trembled, his body weak, but he wrapped his arms around her just like he had done decades before. The nurses peeked in, some wiping away tears, as the 2 of them swayed gently. For a moment, there were no tubes, no pain, no sickness, just Emily and John, lost in their song. When the music ended, John leaned his head on her shoulder and whispered, "Thank you for every dance, Em." Moments later, he closed his eyes with a faint smile. Emily held him close, tears streaming down her face, whispering, "We'll dance again, my love." Just not tonight. Months later, Emily would still play that song in the kitchen. Sometimes she danced alone, but in her heart, she always felt John's arms around her.